We made it, gamers, video gamers, my dudes, and dudettes, presumably. There may or may not be at least a female watching this. Probably not, though. This is the internet where men are men, women are men, and children are FBI agents. And if you don't remember that meme, you are too young to be watching this video. That's probably from... Oh boy, how old is that? A decade and a half old? 13 years? That's an old one, guys. That's a deep pull, or a deep cut, whatever the phrase is. That's something you don't remember, unless you remember. You know? You remember? Anyway, we've made it. This is the final episode of the first Mario Party. Please let it be the final episode. Please don't let me, like, unlock a super secret bonus level or feel a need to do, like, a gauntlet of the minigames or some dumb thing. Please, oh please. Because I don't think current me could take it. So if that happens in the future, I will be unbelievably disappointed in myself for going back on something that I feel is more or less a done deal. I mean, we're gonna see the credits this episode. We're gonna be done. It's gonna be over. It's been a long time coming. Even more so for you. Because you're gonna watch this over the span of a month and a half, given weekends. And no, I'm not changing it to post on weekends. That's too much work. I've already uploaded most of these. You're just gonna have to deal with it. This is gonna be Mario Party Central for a month and a half. Till like mid-April, legitimately. Or at least pretty close to it. Maybe the first not half. Half would be a month and a half. Probably first third of April. And then, I mean, you'll know when you're watching this because you'll be watching it during that time. And then we'll be doing something else. I believe it'll be Super Monkey Ball, but if something in the next month catches my eye and I go, hey, I really want to play that, then I'll really want to play that and I'll play it. And I'll upload it before Super Monkey Ball. And what are you going to do about it? Literally nothing. So thanks, Peach. I love going back to start. It is my favorite thing. This board is amazing because it lets you go back to start all of the times without collecting $200 or 10 coins. Do people still play Monopoly? Is that still a thing people do? Like, I feel like Monopoly's become more of a collector's item than an actual board game that people play. Am I wrong? So yay, Poison Mushroom, I don't get to move for a turn. Good thing there are only a few turns left, and that won't significantly impact me at all. Thanks, game. But, like, there's so many different Monopoly boards at this point that I feel like people just buy them to collect them. Be like, hey, I have this dumb edition of Monopoly. You don't have this dumb edition of Monopoly. Therefore, I win life. There's so many niche versions, and it's pronounced niche, by the way. It's not niche. There's no T in there. You dumb Americans and your pronunciations of words and stuffs. I say this like 2 episodes after I just talked about how funny it is to mispronounce words. But that's not a mispronunciation that's funny. That's not one people are doing to sound funny. That's just you pronouncing it wrong. It's not niche. It's niche. Like quiche. Kinda. Anyway, there's so many of those types of versions of Monopoly that people don't actually play them, they just collect them. It's like a badge of honor. It's really weird. I currently have one version of Monopoly. I think. Now I can't remember if I have that or I gave it to someone as a gift. I can't remember if I got it as a gift or I gave it away as a gift. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Anyway, the one I'm thinking of is Fallout Monopoly. And I either gave it away as a gift or I was given it as a gift. I think I was given it as a gift. I'm pretty sure I have it. Oops. Apologies to my sister if she ever watches this. I know we played it. I think we played it. Maybe we didn't even play it. Oh, my memory's bad. I'll tell you a story. Since this is the finale, since this is the longest series on the channel at the time, longer than Custom Robo, longer than Devil May Cry, as I bump my keyboard, I'll tell you a story of why my memory is bad, and what I have done to try to make it better. Back when I was a child, I got a number of concussions. Don't know what the number is. It's somewhere around 3 to 5, which is not a significant number of concussions, except that A, they happen to a developing child brain, and B, one of them was at a soccer practice, which was followed by heading practice. If you know anything about concussions, and I've done a fair bit of research on them, considering the impact they've had on my life, subconcussive hits after a concussion are very, very, very bad for you. Now, I slid into a wall during a soccer practice. This was in a gymnasium. I was knocked out. After a few minutes, my coach said, "Hey, get back in there," and then we did heading practice. Now, heading practice itself is not terribly good for your brain, especially when you're a child and you don't have proper form. Like, they say even heading in, like, professional soccer isn't the best for you, but it's just subconcussive, so it's like, as long as your head is generally okay, you'll be okay with it. If you have just recently suffered a concussion, which is brain damage, BT dubs. The worst thing that you can do for it is take more hits to the head. So I believe wholeheartedly that that singular experience, after having received a couple of concussions in the past too, which is not good, but at least those got time to heal, altered my brain. I think it did legitimate permanent damage to my brain, and more specifically its ability to create memories. If you're watching this, you may know that I used to write movie reviews. I mean, I've talked about it on the show that I have previously been employed writing movie reviews for The Escapist, but prior to that, I did it for 8 years. 8 years? 5 years? 7 years? 6 years? I can't remember how many years. It was several years. I think it's 8 years, 9 years total now. So I started in 2010, and I started writing a daily movie review, which was for a couple of reasons. One, I had a newfound love for cinema that came around that time. I don't know why I developed it, but I did. And I thought, hey, I want to watch all these movies. I was always okay at English, at least the actual writing part. Not so much the analyzing part. So I wanted to get better at that when it came to movies, at least. And I also wanted to write down what I thought about a movie so that I could go back and remember what I thought about it. So I could look, future me could look and be like, hey, this is what you thought about X movie. So I did that, I did that for 4.5 years of a daily movie review. So I wound up with over 1,000 of them. Well over 1,000, actually. And that actually helped me form the memories. I think just that brain exercise, like I could have just sat there playing video games and rotting, but I think actually doing that analysis, that writing down, helped me form new memories and helped my brain remember how to do that. I don't have any proof other than anecdotal of this, so if you're for some reason suffering from memory issues and you're like, hey, maybe this will help me, it might not. There's no scientific basis to this, but they do say doing activities for your brain will help it rebuild itself. Like, that's why they say when you get old, do brain teasers. It'll help you, not prevent it necessarily, but perhaps slow Alzheimer's and just help you in general. So I think that helped. I still have issues with it. I have genuine problems with memory loss, especially if I don't care about something. If I am not emotionally invested in it, it will often go in one ear, come out the other. I'm unsure if that's why when I'm in a recording mode, I don't often remember anything I've said during it. Or at least not a lot of what I've said during it. Like these last 12-20 minutes, somewhere in there, and I'll remember like a couple of paragraph length parts to it, but otherwise it's gone. When I used to write tests in school, I would write the test and people would be talking about the test afterward, and I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't remember that question. Made it a problem in school to just learn new material. Like, I struggled a lot with math, especially. Part of that was also due to me missing a significant chunk of school due to illness, which I'll talk about sometime, but essentially I missed half of grade 9, and grade 9 was the year that my math class decided to do both Math 9 and Math 10. So I missed half the year. Our class decided to do double the amount of work. If you don't have that building block, you're done for. So I struggled a lot with math. I struggled a lot with science too, but I was generally okay if it was like bio. I could do bio, so that's what I did for high school. Anyway, point being, this is a significant problem for me, and it's not one that I feel like is ever going to get fixed. If anything, it should deteriorate more as I grow older. And like the reviews, that's another kind of reason why I want to do these Let's Plays. I wanted to document my feelings, my experiences, my thoughts while playing these video games. I mean, if people like them, much like with the movie reviews, I eventually made something of a thing out of those. It took a long time. It took a lot of work. But I got something of a following from that. Not a big one, but a decent enough one, and I eventually got a job doing it. And that would be swell if that happens with this. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's cool too. But that's first and foremost why I want to do this. Also to just force me to play more games. I'm just bad at it. I just go on and replay the same games I've played a dozen times. Because I know that, and I'm comfortable with it. Which is a child's mentality. That's why children will rewatch the same Disney movie 6 times in a day. That's because they know they like it. And they fear that unknown. They fear that I don't know what's coming, and I don't know if I'm going to like it, so I'm just going to stick with what I know. That's a literal child mindset. So I'm trying to get past that too. I don't know if that's a brain thing. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am like that. I think everyone is to an extent, but I'm more like that than I should. I'm trying to get past that comfort zone. So there's a lot of reasons to do these. It's not just for potential YouTube fame, which is probably not going to come. Let's be honest. It's very difficult to make it on YouTube. The LP market is saturated, and you have to actually be like really, really good. And I'm not really, really good. Not yet. I think I've gotten better, even as the series has progressed. Like, you go from episode 1 to this one, and I think the commentary is better. It's certainly less focused on the game. I talked about the game. Have I at all this episode? I don't know. It's over. Peach won. Good for her. I don't care. I hated that level. I spent most of it just telling the story, actually. I think I spent like 3 turns, plus these results screens. So that's where I'm at. That's why I'm doing these. And that's something that you now learned about me. I accidentally skipped the detailed results, by the way. That wasn't my intention, but I accidentally hit A instead of start. So we'll just have to assume that I lost. I believe the game. I don't think it would have tricked me. So there's a story for you. There's something pretty personal, pretty impactful to my life that I've now told the entirety of the internet if they want to know. I don't even think I've mentioned that on Twitter much. And I share a lot with Twitter because I think Twitter's fun, for the most part. So we're at the credits. This is Mario Party. It's over. It's now done with. I decided to just leave these in. I think that's what I'm going to do for most of these games. I'm just going to leave the credits in, and if I feel like it, talk about what I liked and didn't like about the game. So I'm going to do that now for Mario Party. This is like several minutes long, so we got time. I don't have a lot of thoughts that I haven't already said about it. I think most of the maps are pretty good. I didn't like the last map, functionally at least. I like the idea behind it, but I think that idea should have been used for a different map layout. I think it's just too much to throw at one map. But that's okay, at least they tried. At least they did stuff that's different. I think most of the minigames are not good. I think if there's a big flaw with the original Mario Party, it's the minigames. It's not even the lack of variety. I think there's enough variety. I just think many of them are just not balanced well. I think a lot of them rely too much on RNG, especially the non-4-on-4 ones, or 1-on-1-on-1-on-1, the Fatal 4-ways, to borrow a wrestling terminology. Like some of the 1v3s, you literally have some of them where people don't have to participate. That's bad game design. I think most of the gimmicks on the levels are pretty cool. They function well. The game as a whole, it functions well. It's not like broken or anything, which is good. What else? The controls for some of the minigames are bad. Like I'm glad that I've heard they've done away with most of the control stick spinning, because those are not good. Graphically, it's okay. It's not poor. A lot of 3D games from this generation have not held up. This one is certainly playable. Like, you can tell what everything is, everything that's going on. To be fair, that's a little upscaled with my Microsoft 64, but I've played it on the N64. I own it on the N64. And it looks okay. Especially if you like play it on an actual CRT instead of an HD TV, but that's neither here nor there. And it's probably more fun with friends, I'm sure. But I ain't got those. Nor would I want to record a Let's Play playing with other people. Then again, I did it in 2 separate sections, so they might not have even known. Probably would have been more fun to actually do that to play. Oh well, maybe I'll do that for the sequel, but probably not. It's going to be a long time before I play the sequel also. There are so many other party-type games that I want to get to that I think are going to be more fun. This was supposed to serve as kind of a break between like more important series, and it kind of turned into a marathon. I mean, this is what, episode 27, I want to say? That's a lot for just Mario Party. And all I did was play each map once. Didn't do anything else. Didn't do anything additional. So that's a little bit of a shame. I'll try to figure out a way to balance it better in the future. Either by making the party episodes weekends, or maybe even releasing 2 a day. We shall see. It doesn't matter at this point. Nobody's watching. But eventually in the future, when people are watching, hopefully, potentially, theoretically, it will matter. So I'll try. I will try, okay? So that's all I can promise you. But thank you if you've sat around for this whole series, or even if you just cut in line and watched this one. It's a little cheating. You got to hear a very personal story without the 8 previous hours of investment, or however long it wound up being. Probably close to 8 hours. Try to keep the episodes between 12 and 16 minutes for most of them. I think the first map was longer, but I was also learning the mini games because it'd been a long time since I'd played this game. Then once I'd learned them, we kept them down. I mean, each map took about 45-ish minutes to play. A couple of them were longer, like this one. But it was fun overall. It's a bit much, but I had fun. I hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed it. And tune in next time for a different video game for the first time in forever.